This is Countrywise.
Hello and welcome to Countrywise. This week I am cutting out the machinery, but I'm still cutting the grass. The ancient art of scything. It's so easy until you try it.
350 miles inland now to the Lake District, where Paul is journeying back in time to try a craft that began in 500 BC.
Some of the best moments in the countryside, for me anyway, are moments of harmony. It's when you find man not fighting nature, but working with it. And I'm about to meet a classic example of that. It's what you might call poetry in motion. I'm here to meet Steve Tomlin, who became interested in the ancient art of scything during a trip to the Pyrenees, where it's still used to trim those hard-to-reach parts of the landscape. Since then, he's made this his full-time job, teaching the natural mowing technique, as well as being employed to cut meadows. Steve.
Hi, Paul.
Sorry to interrupt you. You look like a man who's enjoying yourself.
Oh, I am indeed.
This is a wonderful ancient tradition, but why does it need to survive?
I would never talk about the scythe with the words old or traditional. For me, this is a very modern tool which has got a place in the 21st century. People are using this now because they're fed up of having to use strimmers, which are noisy and dirty and dangerous, and they need petrol to run. This will do a really effective, efficient job. It'll go around trees, it'll go where tractors won't go. And so people are rediscovering it.
The 2,000-year-old practice is gaining in popularity because it's simply a greener alternative to using machinery to manage weeds and grass. As a result, 3 local authorities have switched from strimming to scything in the past few months. Even London Zoo gardeners have been trained in scything. It's a gentle and quiet alternative, and less disturbing for the animals. You know, I once had a small farm and tried to use a scythe to cut grass, and I found it exhausting.
Right.
Is that because I was doing it wrong?
Probably. The principle of the movement is that your body weight shifts from one foot to the other, OK?
Yeah.
And that moving mass creates the momentum that carries the blade through.
Ah, so
rather than you using your muscles.
You're not standing in one place and doing it
no.
with your arm. Ah.
No, it's a gentle motion. You should be relaxed. It should feel easy.
You can possibly tell I'm a bit uncertain about this, but we'll see.
Remember, you don't need to move fast. OK, keep it on the ground. You're missing half the grass now, Paul. Tiny cuts and keep it pressed onto the ground. That's not bad. Now, if you could bend your...
I've noticed that all this grass is dragging along. Yours cut and mine's not cutting.
Because you're sweeping it sideways rather than making an arc. Use the tip of the scythe and draw a semicircle on the ground. Pull it round with your left hand more. So you draw that semicircle.
Meadows benefit from scything because when the top growth is removed all at once by heavy machinery, it can damage the plant life. More and more people are scything at home. In wet weather, scything can be easier than strimming, so last summer, many gardeners made the switch.
That's better.
Do you think the farmer would pay me for this or not, or send me back to do it again at the end of the day?
You might want me to redo it.
I'm going to have another go, and if I could ever be as good at this as you are, I'd be a very happy man. Thank you
just
for the
practice.
lesson, Steve.
You're very
Comes
welcome.
with practice.
That's not bad now.
I said at the beginning that this was a sort of poetry in motion, and perhaps when Steve does it, it is, and rather less so when I do it. But the thing that has struck me is that this, what seems to be an ancient and outdated craft, has a place in the modern world, and I find that very refreshing.